Editando el video que estás a punto de ver, me di cuenta que le hacía falta una chiquitita introducción. Es una conferencia que se hizo hace unos cuantos meses, que viene directamente desde mi corazón y de lo más sincero que te puedo dar. Quería hacer una introducción fancy, con micrófono, cámara, pero como es algo meramente más terrenal y donde me abro yo totalmente, te lo quería hacer lo más natural posible. Gracias a las personas que escucharon la conferencia y por supuesto gracias a ti que la estás viendo. Por favor deja tu like, suscríbete y todo, y espera mucho más contenido en los próximos días y nada, eso es todo. Espero te guste. Chao. About a topic that really interests me, about how we perceive each other, about how we perceive what other person perceives in ourselves, and how can we change the energy that's being told to us into make it something better. The presentation is called The Opposite of Love. This is 11-year-old Fede. He's happy. He is hanging out. I think it's Guadalajara, Jalisco. And it's in the soup. I got better. I'm like wine. And in that moment in life, he thought about certain things that he's not thinking right now. You know, like, okay, what am I gonna wear tomorrow? How I'm gonna talk to the girl next week in school? You know, that kind of stuff that you worry about whenever you're in middle school. And it's weird when life gets complicated. You know, it's interesting how even though you have certain plans in life has another plan for you. So, little did you know, a couple of months later after that picture was taken, my family got separated in the sense that my father was brutally murdered in Mexico, in Torreon, Coahuila, in 2012. Whenever the war with drug cartels started in Mexico, in 2006 with Felipe Calderon. This is my father. He was killed in an accident in his job. This is me. This is my sister Camila, Diego, and my mom, Emma. We didn't know what's going on with life. That happened. We started to run off other places in Mexico. We needed to start thinking about, okay, this happened right now, but we need to start thinking about now ourselves, you know? We went to different cities. I had to go to different schools. I had to pass through things that normally an 11-year-old doesn't have to pass. And my mindset had to change. I mean, I was no longer the 11-year-old that wanted to go to school next week. I wanted to be the 11-year-old that was alive next week. That happened. Also, in that time, my brother was also injured in that accident. He received a bullet impact in his right arm, and it got practically shattered. We thought that he was gonna lose his arm, but at the end of the day, everything went good. We went with amazing doctors that helped everything. And as you can see, like, I'm confused, you know, like what's going on, what is going to happen tomorrow, are we going to leave, are we going to leave my brother here, like what's going on, you know? So it's a good story for me to like throw back to say, okay, life it's like this, you know, like you have to enjoy every moment. Whenever this happened, normally someone will say like, okay, you have every excuse for you to start like doing drugs or doing alcohol. I mean, you have an orphan. You don't have like this fatherly figure at a very young age to like conduct you to a certain path, or like to show you how to boil your tire, or to show you how to change a tire, stuff like that. And I definitely got depressed. I definitely got certain attitudes that normally an 11-year-old wouldn't have. But thanks to this one person, everything changed. What society thought that I was going to become totally changed. And this person is my mother. She's everything for me. She became my father figure. She became the provider. She became someone that I really enjoyed to talk to about things. I mean, she taught me everything that I know today. And I am very grateful for her in my life. Okay, now, talking about having been with a mother, I want to ask you guys, first of all, what does love mean? What does love mean to you, for example, in your case? What does love mean?
What's the word? Like it's something you give without expecting in return.
Okay, that's a good answer. What about you? What does love mean?
An inseparable bond between two people.
Definitely. It's an emotion, right? You know, there's something that you choose to give. Now, on the other hand, can somebody tell me what's the opposite of love? What's something that is totally the contrary? How about
Hate.
you? Hate? That's a good answer. You?
Selfish.
Selfishness. Okay. That is the answer that I thought too. Selfishness, hate. That is normally what people expect, right? Okay, the opposite of love is hate. At the end of the day, I think that love is an emotion, like we all said. And being love and emotion, the opposite of an emotion is no emotion. So whenever somebody is ignorant with you, like they ignore you, they don't take you seriously, stuff like that, what is it called? It's called being indifferent. Indifference. I believe that many of the times we think that people saying stuff about us and to actually like taking the time to tell you something, it's hate, and that like that is the opposite of love. But I think that rather you being like plain and nobody noticing you, I think that's way worse than actually being perceived as a bad person or taking like some strike about that. Normally, whenever we start like growing up, we think that society hates us. Like whenever we're 13 until like 21, 22, we don't know what's going on with our life. I think many of us, our first counterpart that actually defies us, it's our parents, right? Like they told us like, okay, you shouldn't wear that, you shouldn't go to that school, you shouldn't do that. Why do you think our parents do that? Like, what do you think our parents doesn't let us like wear like whatever we want whenever we're like 5 years old? What do you think that? Yeah.
I believe that they're being overprotective. They want to keep you safe. They want to keep you on the right path.
Yeah.
So that's why they do that.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what do we mean as counterpart, right? Sometimes it's a friend, sometimes it's a family member, sometimes it's somebody that actually cares about you and wants for you to become a better person. So it's weird how we perceive hate right nowadays and how we perceive what's going on with our lives, because we need to first to think, okay, from who it's coming from. Like they want the best of us, like you said. And for this dynamic, I don't know if you still have your papers. I wanted for you to write something that somebody told you, somebody close, that actually like felt really bad. Like this
You guys
person.
need another paper?
Yeah, so somebody told me this, and it really hurt because he was a really close person, or I didn't thought he was my friend, or she, or my mother, or father, something like that. It'll take a couple of minutes for you to write that down. Wrote, that'll be great. Who wants to volunteer? You? Come on.
So I was ongoing chemotherapy, and I was on steroids to help fight back the effects of chemo. And something steroids do is make you gain weight, whether you eat food or you don't. And this was about like 2 months into the treatments, and it was one of my, at the time, friends who I guess he didn't know, and he was like, damn, I really got fat. And it's just like back then, and it's still, I still remember, you know, so that's how beautiful it was to me.
Definitely. Thank you for sharing first. Like that's super deep. I think that most of the time we perceive ourselves like at the center of the universe, and more when we're young, and we tend to take everything personal, right? We tend to take like, okay, this person is telling me this, and I know he knows this, and most of the time, people, like I told you earlier, is more about they wanna even like I think that most of the time he will tell you that because he wanted you to be skinnier or to be healthier, you know? Like in that case, whenever your dad tells you like, okay, you should not like dye your hair that way, or you should not apply to that, or don't put a tattoo, is more of like they don't hate you or they don't want to destroy you, but they want to become a better person. It's not all the time happens like that, because like plenty of times user 55207 in TikTok like comments you that you're a stupid person, and I mean like they don't even know you. But I think that normally we need to start thinking about that and like to take that hate, and then I'm gonna show you guys a little technique later about how to take that hate or that like feedback and to transform into something better. We all can agree that these 4 people right here have done one single good thing in life. I mean, most of the people cannot agree with capitalism, with soccer, with activism, climate change, with Greta Thunberg, Malala, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Elon Musk, but we all can agree that they have a plan. And even those guys that are in the top level of influence, money, sports, they get haters. It's incredible how like some people like very love, like the Pope, for example. They still get hates on people that don't actually know their story and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, if you see the presentation, it's a little hint. All the stars that are there, all the planets that are there, is to symbolize how insignificant we are. I mean, at the end of the day, if you choose to go to that college that you wanted to do, to start that project, to do whatever you wanted to do, in 1 billion years, who's gonna remember? Who's gonna remember that you failed? Who's gonna remember that you won? The thing is that you tried and you are peaceful with yourself that you did it. So again, being ignored is something that we all hate, right? I mean, whenever you apply to that internship, whenever you apply to college, and you get denied, it feels bad, really bad, because you really trusted that process that you were gonna get the job or you were gonna get that internship and stuff like that. With things more like day to day, whenever you talk to that girl and she doesn't respond, I mean, that hurts a lot more than she doesn't like tell you like, okay, no, I don't want to go out with you. Or like if you ask your parent like, hey, can we go to this trip? And they don't even notice it, it hurts a lot more rather than them telling like, okay, no. Why is this? Because not only that we're being like left to the sidelines, but we have this like faith that eventually the person is going to tell yes, or that scholarship is going to tell yes, or that university is going to tell yes. And that is such a bad feeling. But if we don't understand and embrace that into taking to something better, we will never leave the area where we're on, which is of comfort, our comfort zone. So whenever we receive hate, like we told you, like, okay, your friend told you that, I believe that it wasn't something that he wanted to hurt you. Well, we don't understand it at that moment. I mean, we're hot-heated in their mind. We wanted to like always take it to the defensive side, and most of the time we don't understand that our parents or friends or mentors in here want to search for you, want for you to have a better future. And many times people try to, let's talk about people that don't want to add anything in your life, right? Like haters, real haters that actually want to destroy you in any sense. Most of the time it's because these people are your fans at the end of the day. If everybody watches, like if every day they watch your stories, if every day they send you like, I don't know, messages about how ugly you are or how dumb you are, stuff like that, they're constantly thinking about you. And most of the time they're projecting themselves upon you because on things that they can't do. Let's say, for example, if you are somebody that wants to go to Stanford University and you tell them, hey, I want to go to Stanford University. And many of the people will say like, why are you applying? I mean, just a little percentage of people that go there can go there. And they're projecting themselves into, I cannot get in there because I don't have the mentality. So because I cannot get it, mostly you can. So we have to embrace that it's not because they want to hurt us, it's because they're projecting themselves. And that every day they're thinking about us and they're thinking about changing the topic about failure, it's because they're thinking about you. I came here to El Paso 2 years ago, and I had this mentality that I wanted to become the best engineer that I could be. And alongside with that, I started creating content, and I started like thinking, okay, maybe somebody wants to hear what I want to hear, right? And you don't know that amount of hate that I got it from my peers, like for the people like, you don't have nothing to say. I mean, this was back in 2020. Like I was so skinny back then, the Whataburger hit. But basically it's like 14th of February, 2020. I hope you like it. Thank you for being part of this project. And that should be life. I mean, that's greater. Like, hey, if you want to be in this project named, named Eric, named Sophia, named Gael, I mean, come with. I'm gonna do great things. I'm gonna rock it. If you want to be part of it, good. If not, I'm gonna continue with my path. Now with this, I mean, if you keep, one of the papers that was there says something about consistency, that if you're consistent, you're gonna make successful. Not all the time that you're consistent. Consistency is not gonna make you a great person or a great YouTuber or a great entrepreneurship, but consistency will make you not great. Like if you don't have consistency, that will make you a bad entrepreneur or a YouTuber or whatever. So you need to be how to do it, and actually like being consistent on what you're sharing, right? This is a little video of Jorge Cermeño and Felipe Calderon. This is somebody that is from Torreón, Coahuila, And this is, I don't know if nobody of you have context about Mexican politics. This is the president of the Republic of Mexico back in 2006. This is Felipe Calderon handing the presidential badge to them, and this is Jorge Cermeño, the person who is like Felipe Calderon, and then he was the basically like Nancy Pelosi of Mexico. Like he was a very, very, very important person in that sense. And he is Jorge Cermeño with Felipe Calderon. Whenever people tell you that you cannot do it, the basic thesis of this is to embrace it and say, I'm gonna do it not just because you like told me so, but I'm gonna take all this that is going to happen in my life and I'm gonna make it. And I'm gonna not prove you wrong, but make you believe that I'm a great person and I'm the one that I'm like the story that I want to tell myself. Why am I showing you this? Well, I really wanted to talk to this person about Mexican politics, right? And in my podcast, I achieved to talk to him. I mean, this is like the second most powerful person in politics in Mexico, like from 2006, 2006, all the way to 2010 or 2012. So this is my room, this is my bed right here. Like whenever you put yourself into, hey, I want to achieve this, and it's not about the numbers, it's not about the goal. I mean, it doesn't matter how much money you get in the scholarship or how much like fans you have or how many followers. It's about the goal that you set yourself, and if you put your mind to it, you can definitely achieve it. Years passed by, and even though a person told me that I couldn't make it in the US, I graduated from my associate's degree recently, and next year I'm going to YouTube to finish my bachelor's. And now I have not as many views as I wanted to, but regarding, I have people listening to what I want to say, like 30,000 views in one video, 1,000 in another one. And if you keep going on about what you want to say, and if you keep consistent on your speech and what you believe you are, you will achieve anything that you want to do. Use hate as a fuel. Remember, whenever you receive hate or you receive a bad comment, try to change it. Try to always use it as something to motivate you and make an impact.